Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Krystal Goodner, and I am so blessed that you are here with me. Come on into the room. And you are here for the debut of my brand new podcast, Kandid Konversations with Miss Krystal, Transforming Through Transparency. Hey, this has been something that God had put on my heart years ago to do a real talk, real conversation series. And guess what? No better time like the present. Here in this space, I'm going to be sharing real stories from real people in the hopes that what they've been through can inspire you. And so I'm excited that my very first guest is going to be one of the most popular stories I did while I was there at the news station that I came from. And it's a story that you all wanted to hear more about, know more about, and I've got an update to this story. So here's a little bit of background about my first guest. On November 12th, 2024, Louisville's Clifton neighborhood was shaken by a fatal explosion at the Givaudan Sense Color plant. A large cooking vessel exploded, tragically claiming the lives of 2 employees and injuring 11 others. The blast also displaced dozens of residents in the area, including 68-year-old Eunice Stone, who lived just feet from the plant. When the explosion occurred, Eunice had just gotten into her car, and in the days and weeks that followed, her story touched so many lives as she and her neighbors navigated through the uncertainty of being displaced from their homes. And so without further ado, can you show some love to my very first guest, Miss Eunice Stone?
Thank you, Krystal.
I can hear the applause, Eunice.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Eunice, first off, thank you so much for taking the time to join me here on my brand new podcast. But whenever I went anywhere, everyone asked about Eunice. How's Eunice doing? And they were so touched by your story. So real quick, take us back to that day, that fall day in November. It was a sunny day. And paint the picture for us. Where were you at? What were you doing?
Not only was it a sunny day, it was the day after my birthday.
Yeah.
So I was already uplifted for seeing another birthday.
Wow. And we shared that in the initial story.
And I had a good interview that day of the explosion. I don't like to say something to say because I know God. And I believe and I live in His words to the best of my ability. God told me to go get in the car right after the interview. It was a little quiet voice inside of me. Go get in the car. So I go and get in my car.
So you were sitting there,
yes,
in the kitchen area.
In the kitchen area where the back door blew off at. Normally where I sit to have interviews or to do some any kind of technology virtual work, shall I say. And
something told you to get in your car.
God told me to go get in my car. He's not a something. God told me to get in my car. And I got up and I'm happy about the interview. And I went and got in my car. My daughter, she pulled up. My middle daughter, Rosina, she pulled up. And my hairstyle at the time was a braid. And it came loose. And I'm like, it's something I've never done before. I don't do my hair in my car. I say, lady, get in the car, baby, and do my hair. She came over to bring my balloon for after my birthday party. And when she got in the car and I turned my face towards the window of the driver's side of the car for her to braid my hair. Oh God, we thought the world had came to an end.
Because you felt
It was like I thought the train had hit us. It was the impact, the sound of it. I didn't know what to think. My foot on the accelerator, the car not on. She said, "Mama, mama, mama, mama." My head went to banging.
And you're still trying to process it. And for people that aren't familiar with where your townhome was on Weiss Place, it was directly near some train tracks, and the plant was just a couple of feet away from your back door.
Right.
And so the explosion happened. And so basically that jolt you felt, it was the explosion.
Right.
Had you not moved from that kitchen table?
Oh, that door would have been on me. My cabinet that fell, my desk set that I work at, the station, that would have been down on me. The dining room table legs, windows, glass shatter, the front door blew in. All the windows within our complex just blew out. Car windows blew out. I saw so much. I was like, oh my God, oh my. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what happened. I really didn't. Besides, I thought the train had derailed. And as my husband said before, if it weren't for the train, it might have been more damage because a train was sitting there, a cargo was sitting there that probably helped the impact not to be so bad on my end.
Wow.
You know?
So let's talk about the immediate effects. And so as you were there in your car and then you found out what in fact happened, the explosion at the Givaudan plant, which was right across from the railroad tracks. So what were some of the immediate challenges emotionally and physically that you dealt with following that explosion?
Going to the back and when it was anybody hurt, because I'm so used to being on my back porch, I can see the workers.
Yeah.
Hmm. The homeless people walk the track or be in that neighborhood. Is it a fire or what? What happened? Who else at home? Was there any kids coming home from daycare, or was there kids home already from daycare? The blind people that's in that center that's in the neighborhood.
The Louisville School for the Blind.
They walk around and take care of their business out there, you know, freely.
Wow.
My mind was just racing.
Like what?
You know, what else? I mean, anybody hurt? I mean, how many people hurt? What's going on? I'm thinking like this and also holding my head at the same time. And the fireman came up to me and wanted to take me to the hospital. I said, no, not yet, not yet. No, y'all got to wait till my husband get here. Because I didn't know what happened. I just didn't know. I didn't know.
And so we first caught wind of who you were. You were that boisterous voice.
Yes.
In that meeting. So the company, Givaudan, held a meeting for the residents in the area and where the residents were able to basically speak their grievances, talk about what they were dealing with.
Yes.
And everyone, you know, shared a little bit, but you stood up and you spoke truth to power and raised your voice. And so talk about that moment when you were there in that room.
People was angry. People had lost people. People was harmed. One lady really touched me. She said about her baby. Her daughter was napping. The baby was taking a nap. Now, if it affected me, because imagine what they done to a little 5-year-old. And I let everybody they blared off. They was angry, including my husband. All of a sudden, God, I just stood up and just let it go. What about, I'm homeless. Where I'm going? Even though my church, my pastor already got us together, paid for the week, the day of it happened. You know, we had people already looking out for us, the Red Cross, you know. People giving us phone calls, you know, what do you need, you know. But when I talked to her, and she looked me, her eyes pierced through me, and I'm like, what are you going to do about those that affect with their health? What about people who don't have nowhere to go tonight? We can't even go back into our place. I'm not going back in mass. I don't know what happened, you know? And she looked at me and she said, I want to see you.
Right. And that was a moment that we played that, you know, everyone talked about, is that she specifically said that she was concerned about everybody there, but
she pointed me out and she said, I want to talk to you. There's help here for you.
Wow.
And that made me get a little bit calmer.
Right.
You know, but people are still angry, and I am too.
Because this it never happens before. You know, you're in your house, you know, your area, and then all of a sudden this massive explosion. And then we find out that 2 people were killed, 11 people were injured.
Yes.
But the thing, how it impacted you, it left you without a home.
Yes.
The beloved place that you lived
Yes,
for
I love being in that area. I love the community.
And so when this immediately happened, you didn't have power in your place.
No, they cut only our power off in that, right in that area, in that vicinity. Out of the 4 homes, the 5 homes, we had no electricity, no nothing. And so they told us, you know, it's okay to give us time, you know, give them some time, and they're going to cut it back on. Well, a week went by then, you know, like I say, my church, Eunice Stone came through, and we had a place to stay for that week. And then we found out the next following week we couldn't go back in. And then they came back in the 3rd week, said, we're giving your funds back to you, any lease money or security deposit, and you can no longer come to this place at all. I didn't want to go back in there right away then, you know, because I'm shocked and scared and so forth and stuff. Looking at the sidewalk, that impact was so bad, it shifted the front walk, and that's made of concrete. It took the pillars of the house and shifted that, you know, blew out all the windows in the complex, you know. It was an ugly, scary sight, you know.
And so you thought that you were going to be, you and your neighbors, you all thought that you were going to be
going back in, and maybe in a couple of weeks or so, maybe they just put the door back on and put the windows in, and we'll go back home, you know. And they gave us that notice, no, we cannot. The property is considered condemned now, you know, unsafe to hazard, unsafe to be in. And they gave our funds back to us, and I'm like, I'm not. I don't know where I'm going. The church ready again to pay for another week. Thank God for those who is faithful to the word. You know what I'm saying? Without exposing you, putting you out there. And
So you were staying at a hotel during this time while you
yes,
all were waiting
yes,
for an opportunity to come back to your
yes.
home, but it was at the beginning of December that you learned that you wouldn't, in fact,
When
not
when I
be
have a home
able
to go back to.
to return. What did that feel
Right.
like? This
Oh,
place
hope.
that you...
I haven't been hopeless in a long time, man. I'm telling you. Sorry, Miss Krista.
Yeah.
I go there empty, lost, scary. Looking at him, he just started this good job that he so loved.
You're talking to your
My
husband.
husband, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, oh God, it not only did it impact me, having a roof over our head. My son out there's a truck driver. That's where he come. When he come in for his little few days and back on the road, that left him homeless. When they're coming home from work, doing whatever husband do, looking for his dinner somewhere to put his feet up the rest for the evening so he can start his day over again. Myself, having a home to maintain where my grandchildren, great grandchildren come to be comfortable and happy at. Where my car's secure at. I was real comfortable there, but all of that just went blank. It got dark. I didn't see no way out. All I had at this, nothing. I didn't know
Nothing.
where I was going. I want to know the truth about it.
And here we are, just weeks before Christmas.
Ah,
And it seemed as if your story began to take a biblical theme, a character in the Bible by the name of Job, because not only were you looking at homelessness, but then your husband takes a fall in the bathroom shower.
while I'm saying about my son, he was caught out the truck because of he want to get his tooth pulled, and he got his tooth pulled, and he taking pain pill because of what he was feeling, and the Tylenol, whatever. Their extraction, he just started, he lost blood, bottom line. So they admitted him to Baptist. I go there to go see about my baby, and he in there for like 3 or 4 days. On the third day, Wendell called me, and he said, Eunice, I slipped in the tub. I got to get to the emergency. I said, you did what? And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It is slippery. We got grippers we put down this mat to support us. You know what I'm saying? And I guess he just took it for granted or whatever. I wasn't there, but I do know the second diagnosis, he ended up with 3 cracks, 3 broken ribs.
Wow. And
So I'm dealing with my son. I'm dealing with Wendell.
in his first 90 days of his new job.
And I got to move out this place. Oh my gosh.
And you've got to move on top of all of that. And so you're dealing with all of this. Where's your head at this time?
Thank God for family. Thank God for friends. And thank God again for my church. Thank God for you for exposing us what was going on. That really helped so much,
So talk about that. We shared the story.
Yeah, you did. And I didn't have no script. Like, I don't have no script, nothing planned today, You asked me to be to be your guest. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say, when I go back there, it's real ugly and dark, but it's hopeful too, because people started helping. My church member was there for me. Eunice Stone, the help was there, and here you guys come. I want to thank that guy, that news camera guy. I'm so much out on myself going to the hospital, then seeing about my husband. So I'm driving with no gas, and the guy looked in my car. He said, Miss Stone, you don't have any gas. I'm like, oh my God. And gave me that $40. Please tell him thank you.
My photographer at the time at the station, and when we came out to do a follow-up to your story, here she is, you guys, cold in the place because it has no electricity. Having to pack. Having to move items
Maneuvering in the dark.
No light. Nothing. And it just seemed as you were just sitting there in your car. And you were just kind of like blank, just like a glazed look, a blank stare. And my photographer came over and was getting some shots, and he noticed that you didn't have gas in your car. And he took money from his own pocket.
I thought that was, I'm like, oh my God.
For you to put some gas in your car.
I'm like, he gave me and I went and filled the tank up. I'm like, God, thank God that he put people in your path to support you along the way, because people need that.
Absolutely.
We don't need to be talked about or pulled down further. We need to uplift each other. I don't care who you is. Somebody needs some help, give it to them. It ain't going to hurt you none if you already got it. This is how I do myself. You know what I mean? And don't take it for granted.
Absolutely.
God give us what we need, and sometimes some of I won't. We just be still and let his will be done. You know what I'm saying? And that was what was going on with me at that time. I didn't know.
Absolutely.
I didn't know. And you know, again, my pastor, friends calling and, you know, what can I do? What you need, you know? And I'm started saying, all right, because I'm so used to being so self-sufficient.
But and
You know?
sometimes God will allow situations and moments to happen as to where He's telling you it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And it's okay
That was the
to
hardest
allow
part for me.
people
Yeah.
to help you. And I know it was
It
probably
is.
hard for you to do because
Yeah.
you've always been a doer.
Yeah. If
You've
don't talk
always
about it, be about it. You got that right. That's what I tell them kids. I don't want to hear it. Get out there and get it. But I want to thank you because I didn't see a light. I didn't want the church again to start paying for our. I mean, there's people in the church that needed more than we needed. I'm just
right.
saying, you know. And just for the grace of God, you introduced us to the young lady named Moore.
And
And I
so
was like, oh,
that's
yeah,
where
because
we're
I was
gonna
so sad
yeah
putting that Christmas tree
in
in
the
the
trash.
garbage, in the trash. Let me know this is real. That tree is
So
just part of something, but this is what's
right,
really going on. You know what I mean?
right.
And when I met
So
her, she got busy.
right.
She
So
got busy.
in my story, I talked about how Miss Eunice threw her Christmas tree away because she's like, I don't have a home to put my Christmas tree up. And so whenever you see someone going through something, I really feel that that's a time for us to look into ourselves and say, how can we help?
Yeah.
And so, of course, I did the story with Miss Eunice, but I know some fabulous realtor friends. Joining us now is someone that I call a sister. She's better than a friend to me. We've been friends for nearly 20 years. She's been in the real estate game for nearly a decade. She's a real estate broker, and now she is the owner of her own business, Collective Realty. Everybody show some love for Miss Moya Jackson. We're our own audience here. Well,
Yes.
this girl, she's beautiful inside and out. And so I called her to let her know what you were dealing with, and she did not hesitate. So talk about your interaction with Miss Moya Jackson.
I follow up from the text you sent me. I shared my number with you, and I called her, and it wasn't like next week she was going to do. She got my name and everything. She said, well, I got a couple of places. I'm going to send them to you. You give me a call right back, and I promise you I'll get on it right away. I said, yeah, because I got to get up out this hotel. I got to get back. I mean, I'm telling her, I'm like, I want to go more than just 2 rooms, you know? And I'm like, I know I sound probably very irrational to her, you know what I'm saying? But she said, let me help her. But anyway, I called her, and Moore said, could you meet me at a certain place? And I'm like, wow, that's this, and send me the address, and she was there before I got there, and then she returned. I appreciate that because she didn't have
Absolutely.
to, and she came back, and we went into the place, and we saw another couple come up looking, and I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
you
But
know.
before we get there, Moya, tell us a little bit about your business.
So we are a small, what's called a boutique brokerage. So myself and I have 7 ladies on my team, 7 fabulous ladies on my team. And this is just what we do. We help people find a home. So when I saw the story,
Shameless plug. She helped my husband and I. We purchased a home through her leadership in the fall, and so she's
That's
a good
good.
person in and out. Moya, so when I told you about what Eunice was dealing with, you didn't hesitate. You jumped right in.
Yes.
What made you want to get involved?
I mean, I think reality TV and social media makes real estate look like this fancy, glamorous. We get dressed up every day. We go show $1 million homes.
But she does look good every day, y'all.
Yeah, I try.
She does mine.
But I mean, this
Like
is
that.
the meat and potatoes of what I really, really do. Is
Yeah.
I help people find a place to live, and
Wow.
it looks different. The process is different for everybody, but the end result is the same. You know, getting them home. So when we spoke, I told her, you know, the urgency in her voice of getting out of that hotel, and I wanted her to be in her own space for the holidays, to be able to enjoy that with her family. So I told her, I'm gonna send you some properties, and we can go I'm following you. So if you're ready tomorrow, I cleared my schedule. I told her I'll clear my schedule tomorrow, and we will find you a place.
And you was on it.
And that's what we
That
did.
is so
You was on it.
wonderful.
That's what we
Yeah.
did.
And so here we were just a couple of weeks before Christmas, and as I mentioned, you saw footage, if you saw the news story, of her putting her Christmas tree in the trash because she said
Yes.
she didn't have a place to live. She didn't have anywhere to put the tree up. Now I knew you was probably thinking, man, I should have kept that tree because you got into a home before Christmas.
Yes,
Talk
yes,
about
yes,
that.
yes, yes. It was, I mean, everything is a process, but the process didn't have to be like a 30-day. And that's what really, I'm like, okay, I had everything just about what she need that I,
Right.
had with me
She
anyway,
was
the
on top of it,
verification
yeah.
and all my credentials and so forth and stuff. And I'm so glad that I had to go into her office and sit and do a lot of paperwork. She had everything. We're so virtual and digital nowadays. This is the good thing about technology today. So she got real busy on it, and she made some calls and gave me some numbers to make some calls. And I got with my husband, and I showed him the place, and then she, told us, about another place. But since that came through so quickly,
I was nervous. Like as we
yeah.
were going into the home, somebody was leaving. When we were coming out, someone was
coming in.
So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
we might
yeah.
need, some type of backup plan here.
Yeah.
But this
You had
this
options,
was
and
for
that's what I
her,
needed.
though. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that I
You weren't
was
trying to
afraid the
sell
place
nothing,
wasn't
you was
gonna
trying
be-
to help, and
No,
I thank you for
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I
that
just
part.
wanted her. She looked around. She wasn't, nitpicky. She wanted enough space for her family to be, for her
Yes.
grandkids, her great grandkids to come visit. There's
Yes.
yard space, and she
Yes.
said, "I'm good."
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and
And so
I was in there before Christmas. I didn't have a tree, and the tree was the Bible was my word. That was enough for me. It was all lit up. It was on the inside. Yeah, baby. I'm telling you, God is good. And I want to thank you. Then from you, here come Tony. Meet somebody else.
Right.
Where I'm gonna hopefully be a potential homeowner by the end of this
are
year.
gonna
you
be a
are going to be a
homeowner.
homeowner.
It'll be the
so not
first
only,
time.
yeah, and so I'm strong in my faith, and I believe whatever happens to you happens for you.
Amen.
And anything
Yes.
bad, it's always going to work out for your good. And so
Good
you linked up
Lord.
with Moya. Moya is in also collaboration with, if you're a Cards fan, you know the name Tony Williams.
Yeah.
And so talk about the
That is
process.
my mortgage loan officer go-to. So
Yes.
I connected them so that, she can get a plan in place so that when that lease is up, if she doesn't want to sign another one and she wants to purchase, then she can do it. And I told her we'll hold her hand and get her to the closing table to get her own home.
Wow.
So.
In my years in news, police officers, I remember interviewing one police officer during a story, and he said something, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
But in this situation, if you see something or hear something, do something.
something.
Well, you talk about the power in action and not waiting for someone else to be the hero, but just moving to help.
Yeah, and I mean, not even looking to be a hero, just doing what I can do. You're
Right.
watching these people in the holiday season where they want to enjoy and gather with family, and they don't know where that's going to be or how that's going to work out. And I have the ability to change that. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Wow, Eunice,
Yeah.
talk about the power of community. This was a situation that left you vulnerable. Strong woman, mama, grandmama, always making a way out of no way. But this go around, help
God
came
used
to you.
me. Yeah, He used me. Even the neighbors started to coming up and asking for suggestion and getting information. I was able to share who they can go to at that time, and other people had gave me some direction. The go-to people, and I felt kind of bad that people had to go through this. And all of a sudden, I just knew I was just talking.
Yeah.
Saying something positive, having hope for somebody else besides myself. They thank God for the church want to offer us food and stuff and give us canned goods, but we ain't have a stove. We ain't have no kitchen to cook.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not going to help us.
Right.
But I'm just saying. So from there, it just started to people that give it in itself started helping out more. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
I got
the
to say
company.
that.
So talk
Yes.
about the company.
They did. They started to calling. They started reaching out more to us. how can I say, replenish what we already was using out there, such as our funds and so forth. They became concerned with, where we was at. And that's how we end up in the hotel, and that's how we end up with you. I thank them for that. But mind you, my church is ready, honey, no matter what.
I know,
We
that's
weren't going to be
right.
homeless, no way, But therefore, by me going in, other people started going to them and asking for the help too as
Yeah.
well. It was no secret. That's what's wrong with us. If we got it, share it.
Share
It's just information.
Absolutely.
What harm can it do?
Absolutely.
Helping someone else. Because some people are afraid to ask for help or to show you who they is because of where they been or where they're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my thing is, if if it's out there, go get it. I'm like you. Don't be about it. Do it.
Yeah.
Be about. Don't talk about it. Be about it. And so basically, that is kind of the final wrapping of this story. So glad that I was able to share the rest of the story with all of you about Eunice, Miss Eunice, because your story touched the hearts of so many people, and everyone wondered what was her next. And thanks to this beautiful lady over here, she helped you find your next. Some hope. Oh, hope means everything. That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
That's what it's all about.
She kept that smile the whole time. She's, telling me what had happened, and I'm getting teary-eyed, and she's just standing there smiling like, I'm okay.
Eunice, so what word will you have to someone out there who's facing some uncertainty?
Reach out for help, no matter what, one-on-one, and collectively, go to your pastor, go to a member, or reach out and talk to people and tell people really what's going on with you. You know what I mean? Don't beat around the bush, because people help me better when I'm being more open and honest.
That's right.
Because that's what I'm here for.
Let me tell you, that's what's been in my spirit as I'm on this journey of uncertainty now. And I was listening to a sermon one day, and they said, people often think that strength is found in, handling things on your own and not sharing your emotions and trying to just, muddle through whatever you're dealing with. But there's strength in vulnerability and saying, I need help.
That's hard for a lot of people.
It's hard. Yeah,
it's not absolutely. I, it's we.
We.
That's how
I love that.
This.
Not I, but we.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you for helping me on my debut episode of Kandid Konversations with Miss Krystal. Hope you enjoyed what you heard today, and hope this will encourage you if you find yourself in your own challenging situation. And so, again, thanks so much for joining me here on Kandid Konversations with Miss Krystal, where we're transforming through transparency. And I hope this conversation helped you. Stay uplifted. Let's keep the conversation going. Be blessed.